Right, so this is my website, Introduction to C Programming for OMSCS Students. So basically, I've taken a couple of classes that use C, and I know a lot of students struggle with not having enough C knowledge to do the classes. So this is kind of a little course that I've prepared that shows all the important parts of C that will help new students that are familiar with other programming languages, or even students that are fairly new to be able to learn C, be up and running, and kind of prepare for the class when it begins. It's fairly short. You should be able to do it, in a few days probably. It shouldn't take that long. So yeah, on the top, I have the menu of all the different chapters, tools to get you started, the variable and operator chapter, functions, control flow, pretty standard. It's a C syntax instead of Java or Python or whatever. Arrays and pointers are a little bit different because most high-level programming languages don't have these. So this will be kind of a new topic. Function pointers, these are extensively used in advanced C programming courses, like the operating system class, the intro to operating systems, even the advanced operating system. There's a lot of instances where you use function pointers, so we'll go into that, show some examples. Structures and unions, most programs that are large use structures and unions to organize the data structures. Simply using normal variables are very cluttered, and unlike Python or Java or C Sharp, C is not object oriented, so you can't have a class or anything like that to organize your data. So you really need to use structures and unions to kind of organize your data. And we'll go into that. And lastly, the last chapter is the memory allocation, which again you don't have in the most high level programming languages. In C and C++, you have to manually allocate your memory, and then free it at the end, and we'll go into that. And yeah, so that's the topics we cover in this class. So I built this website using Wix. So yeah, basically the intro, what it's about, lessons. Like I said, this is a very short class with 8 chapters that go into the basic things you need to get up and running with C. Most students should be able to go through this without a problem. The first chapter is tools, so each chapter has, the way I've laid it out, basically some information about that subject, all the topics that you should know about, some code examples which are in this font. It's a little different from the regular font to let you know it's source code. So I really recommend you, when you see source code, to copy paste this onto your computer editor and then compile the program and run it to see what the output is. Or you can even type it in if you really want. That way, I think typing the code helps you kind of get more familiar with the syntax than copy pasting, but you're free to do whichever. There are programming exercises, so there are opportunities for the students to be able to type, their own code, so that's there too. But yeah, feel free to play around with the code. This chapter basically shows you how to get your tools up and running, your compiler, debugger if you need it, using the console. So that's that. Every chapter has a little quiz where there's a multiple choice question, and then you pick the right answer. If you pick the wrong one, like let's say I'll pick the wrong one here, I'll just say incorrect, and when you pick the right one, it'll say, that's the correct one, and give you a little bit of explanation. So that's the format of the quizzes. This first chapter is very simple, so we don't have any programming assignments here. But like if I go to, let's say, functions, we have, introduce what functions are in C, function declarations. So yeah, read through all of this stuff. Local, global functions, some code snippets you can copy paste into a terminal. So yeah, the different things, and again, quiz questions to emphasize learning. And I feel like a lot of classes or I shouldn't say classes, a lot of existing C sources online are just, text based. This is what a function is, this is where a pointer is, and it's really up to you to learn more, or verify that you really understood it. So I think what this class does is it takes what it teaches and then gives you the opportunity to further validate your understanding by doing these quizzes that kind of focus on making sure that you learned the topics. So that's the quizzes, pretty straightforward. Then there's coding challenges where it gives you a little source code and tells you to fix it, or even gives you just a problem statement and asks you to fix it or implement it. Like this one, it doesn't give you any source code, but it tells you the problem and you need to solve it using what you've learned here. And once you've done that, you can verify your solution. And there's always more than one way to solve a problem. So the solution you might come up with will most likely be different than what's here, but once you run your solution, you feel like it's the right thing and it works, go ahead and just click solution. It'll show you the solution for that problem, and just see how it's different from yours. If yours didn't work, see why this works, or try to understand why both of the solutions work. It's always a good idea. That's a really simple example, but let's see. Memory allocation, this one should have a little bigger program just for you to see. So yeah, here's a source code, that's the solution. So feel free to copy paste this. So let's actually do that. Let's copy paste this solution. So let's say you want to be able to run this on your program. Let's copy that. We'll open up a terminal shell to be able to run it. Let's open up an IDE so you can copy paste this code somewhere. So let's say paste that. Yep. So let's save this file somewhere. I'll pick my desktops to make it easy. Okay, so let's just call it memory.c to make it easy. Alright, we've saved it, and then after saving it, we'll go to the desktop folder here. And I've already showed this in the tools folder, so this is how you compile one file. So gcc memory.c output memory, that's the binary. To run it, we can combine it together, memory. So we're compiling and we'll run it all in one. And yeah, it gave us a warning, but that's okay. So here's the actual output of the program. So it does what the problem statement says it to do, so we're good there. So yeah, feel free to play around with the solution, see how yours is different from what's provided here. Yeah, it's the best way to learn. The more you actually play around with it, the more you'll learn. So yeah, right now this website is supported on desktops. You can open it up on a tablet or a phone, but it might not open up correctly. So the best way for you to go through this course is through a web browser on a PC or a Mac or Linux or whatever computer you use. So yeah, feel free to play around, and maybe you already have some experience, maybe you could skip some of the easier stuff, but yeah, we cover basically all the basic things you need to know to take a class in OMSCS that uses C. This should be a pretty good foundation for you to start, and if you need to learn more, Google is your best friend. Check for other sources that are available to you to learn more about C. So yeah, this is my class. So I've covered all the topics I said I would cover, and hopefully it helps you to understand C and be successful in classes that use C. Cool. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.